2.
Welcome to Learning Local Live, where real estate is local and everyone can invest in their local community.
Considering your investment.
Inventory.
Okay, welcome. My name is Ruben Austria, and I'm your host for today's live community networking event. Learning Local Live connects real estate investors with experienced real estate professionals to discuss real estate opportunities in real time. So I know it's a great concept. We're live. Let's test this out. If you're watching, please type in I'm learning or whatever comment that you want to put in there. We'll acknowledge it. And if you have any questions throughout the show for any of our subject matter experts, please ask, and we'll certainly be sure to help you out. So our intention for today's show is to educate, empower, and inspire people to build wealth through real estate investing. Today, we're going to feature subject matter experts who are going to help you not only acquire the property, finance the property, give you analysis on, any questions that you might be thinking, even if you're a first-time home buyer or, not utilizing this as a rental. We're going to give you a lot of content that's really going to help you make an educated decision on how you should proceed. So really looking forward to doing that. So you might ask, well, how do we do this? It's a really good question. We find the best subject matter experts for our real estate influencer agency or our Learn Local RIA. So my company, Austrian Associates LLC, helps local business owners who happen to be real estate professionals like the ones you see here to really produce local content for in-person events and virtual events like this one, promote their real estate products and services, and at the same time build their referral network. So that's why these subject matters experts show up. It's not only helping the investors that watch, but it's also helping them build their real estate business brand. So what I like to do at this time is introduce my co-host and friend, Rafahael Islam. Rafael, thank you so much for being on the show today, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
All right. If you could, please introduce yourself, what you do, and then from there, go right into the real estate investing strategy that we have, we're going to be talking about today.
Sure. I am the founder of Private Money Specialist. We are a private money lender and mortgage broker, and we focus on a lot of clients that are self-employed and first-time investors and seasoned investors. And private money is specifically used for faster closings and things that traditionally a bank wouldn't do, whether it be a renovation type loan or someone that has a story where their FICOs are not as strong as they should be, but they have a deal and they're trying to pull money out to buy more properties, or they're trying to renovate their property and sell it. There's just a lot of use cases, and we'll go through it as more shows go on. But we are going to be talking about a great property today, and it should be used for a first-time investor.
Perfect. Great. All right. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate you being on the show. I know that Raf, that we're gonna have a lot of tidbits to discuss. So before we actually do that, I want to introduce the rest of our guests that we have today for anyone that might be watching and looking at this property that we're going to be featuring. So the first guest I want you to introduce, her name is Jacqueline Goohs. Jacqueline is a real estate investor, not necessarily in California, but nationwide, and she also invests in property globally. So we have real estate investors on the shows and at the events, so that she can provide some sort of analysis from a ROI perspective on what to expect. So Jacqueline, if you could please do a quick introduction of who you are. We'd love to learn more about you.
Hi, Jacqueline Goohs, and I own Working Globally, Closing Locally. And we do real estate investing and brokerage throughout the United States and globally. A lot of times when we're looking for our ROIs for our investors' portfolios, because we invest portfolios and we invest ourselves. We look for different platforms, whether it be a first-time home buyer or whether it be a seasoned group that is coming together in order to do a fix and flip. That's kind of what I do. And I also do car wash. So off the cuff.
All right, perfect. Residential, commercial. I'm sure that's going to be a part of future shows, future opportunities that we might be able to bring up and discuss. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, for being here. We look forward to having you really provide some insight on our featured opportunity. So next we would like to introduce, and Rafael, if you could take the floor, that would be great.
Yeah, we're going to be introducing Charlene Mariano. We've worked together on transactions for helping her clients with buying and selling, and she has a great property that she's listing currently, and I'll let Charlene take it away.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Charlene Mariano. I am a Compass agent here in California, and I am also a accredited buyer's agent, seniors real estate specialist. I love helping people to build wealth here in
Oh boy, I think we might have some technical difficulties experiencing.
Yeah,
some technical difficulties. Okay, well, let's see.
International as well as.
I think she's kind of coming in. Charlene, you kind of came in and out for a little bit. So I guess redo it.
We'll redo it. I'm a Compass agent here in Los Angeles on the Malia Avrak and Associates team. And I'm also a certified probate and trust specialist. I help people build wealth and also take care of their assets. And I am a seniors real estate specialist, helping people that are 55 and finer. Oh, yes. And I'm also an accredited buyer's agent. And I will help people get into their process of getting to their properties. And Rafael has been a big, huge assistance in that and helping people understand all the information they need in the ways you can purchase a home.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Charlene. So without further ado, let us get into the property that you have available. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity, and we're going to have a lot to say about it. So, Charlene, if you could take the floor, that'd be great.
Sure. So right now I'm featuring a property that is centrally located in Los Angeles. It's listed at $799. It's 1527 Attridge Avenue, close to Cal State LA, also close to El Sereno and downtown. It's a wonderful home because it's been remodeled. It's a beautiful, charming Spanish bungalow. It has an ensuite bathroom in the primary as well as a walk-in closet. And the kicker to this property is there's a downstairs finished basement that you can use as a yoga studio, sound studio, rent it out. It's just a great space, even for a gym. And first-time buyers would love to have this property because they can also use the space below to make some extra income.
Awesome. Okay. So as you had mentioned, this is these are the dimensions of the property here. What we could do, I can pull up the insides of this property as well.
So that downstairs basement has a separate entrance. You don't have to go through the main house to go into the separate entrance. You can go, it's got its own door. It can be completely as a unit all to its own.
Oh, wow. Did not know that. And also there's a detached garage on this property, correct?
Absolutely, which would give you the benefit of possibly also having an additional dwelling unit, which is also an ADU here in California. As you see, it's a turnkey property, completely move-in ready, about almost 1,400 square feet. And you just move in, there's the hardwood floors is installed, just ready to go, bright and airy. fresh paint, and there's coved ceilings, detailed lighting, custom lighting, as you can see in there.
Beautiful.
Kitchen. Yeah, it's great for a home for a first-time buyer couple. 3 bedrooms, good size home.
Did you do the staging on this too, Charlene? You did. That was a good
We
job.
staging on it, and definitely always do professional photography for all of our properties. Nice size backyard. A lot of times you don't get much yard in this area for downtown, closer to downtown. You're minutes from the metro. It's a wonderful property, great investment. Likely to definitely do a great equity builder on this one. You see the lot is really deep, almost 1,000 square feet of land there. So it's a great opportunity for a first-time home buyer to earn income as well.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, no, that's great. It definitely looks like it's turnkey, as you had mentioned, and with a lot there. I mean, there's I think for an investor, that's kind of where their eyes pop up. So Rafael, why don't we just get into the discussion of what it could look like to potentially acquire this property. How do you what would you like to discuss, or how would you want to go about that?
Well, I know Charlene said this is a first-time buyer, and what I would kind of add to that, this would be a perfect property for a first-time home buyer and investor. Because one, it does have that basement, and 2, it has a detached garage, which is pretty huge. That's not common nowadays. And me and Charlene discussed it. How much is it to make the garage, say, a studio or 1 bedroom, 1 bath studio, essentially? How much?
Right, everybody. Yeah, so everybody has their own private taste. Most people do a 1 bedroom. That's roughly about $65,000 to build that out with the cost of construction now. I think it's come down a little bit for the cost of materials.
And what's really cool in LA, something like a garage conversion, it's an over-the-counter permit. So the process is a lot faster than building an ADU from ground up. So $65,000 isn't much when you look at the rate of return. Charlene, what would you say the average rent for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath in that specific neighborhood would be? How much would that render?
About $1,850. So about $1,850, that would pretty much cover almost half of your mortgage. $1,850 to $2,000 a month. It's a 1 bedroom. It's small, but you're in the center of everything. There's parks, restaurants. It's a really great place to be. People are trying to live closer into the city instead of out into the suburbs.
So just thinking out loud, that's like
Would be able to get that for both the units. Sorry.
It's a single family residence.
Time.
Oh, it's okay. It's a single family residence, so it's 1 unit. But because the garage is detached, it would be wonderful to really build that out into another separate space. Mother-in-law quarters. You can do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we're to find
it.
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Jacqueline. I think there's a lag.
Yeah, there might be a lag.
I think there is a lag. So if the basement could be rented as well, would that require a special permit?
No.
Okay.
You can look into your city ordinances, of course, on everything, but people rent. This is California, so SB 9 was passed, and that's a Senate Bill 9, and I can rent the room out. I can rent rooms out as a Airbnb. The basement's just easily, you can rent it out. So definitely, I would say always check with your own personal ordinances, because I know you're in a different state. But here you could rent out that space as well as your ADU. Once it's built out, you can rent it out. And later down the line, they will be saying that you can sell your ADU properties, but that'll be a whole nother show.
Oh, wow.
As a condo.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Too. So
that is a good investment, actually. Yeah.
That is. And if you throw in, say, if I did the ADU, I dropped $65,000. How much more do you think my house would be worth? That specific house. I'm buying it for $800,000, and then I put in another $65,000. Say, upon completion, what do you think the property would be worth?
1.2. 1.1, 150 to 1.2. Yeah.
So you're telling me you're going to spend $65,000. You're going to get about $300,000 to $350,000 in equity,
Easily.
and the break-even point would be what, about 2.5 months? I mean, 2.5 years to get your money back just from rental income.
Absolutely.
So when I say a first-time investor, why that'd be perfect? Because this property,
that's a nice ROI.
yeah, it is. And when it comes to the financing part, you can do FHA financing on this, which is, a low barrier of entry, which would be 3.5%. And, ballpark rates right now is like low to mid sixes. And if we do this as a renovation loan, first time investor, you would put down 25%. Rates are going to be anywhere from like 10.5% to 12%. And we can fund 100% of that renovation. So that's $65,000. And say if you want to do the basement as well, Charlene, what would you say the basement would cost to essentially renovate that, get that ready for a Airbnb or a renter?
It's a smaller basement. The footprint of that is smaller, but of course you've got all the finished ceiling and 4 walls. Much less. I would say a good 30,000, about half of it, depending if you want to add a bathroom down there.
Yeah. So with the ARV of a 1.1 just from the ADU and doing a finished basement, that can easily add another 150,000.
Easily.
Yeah. So this is a perfect property to buy as a first-time investor because you can rent out the ADU, you can Airbnb the basement, or however you want to mix and match. Renovation financing would be for a first-time investor about 25% down. Rates are 10.5% to 12%, and we can do 100% of the rehab. And if you just want to buy this as a rental, it is turnkey. So, again, 20 to 25%, and rates are in the mid 7s right now. But when you buy this as an investment property and we're only verifying the rent of the property, there's no income being verified, meaning we're not looking at tax returns. We're not looking at paycheck stubs. We're not looking at W-2s. It's literally 20 to 25% down. And if the market rents cover the mortgage, you're approved. So it's really simple to get into this specific property.
It's great. Simple is good, especially for a first time. First time.
Nice.
And the amount of upside, the rate of return is, in my opinion, ridiculous. You're going to catch up. You're going to get your money back in 2.5 years. And the appreciation is going to not overnight, but say after 2 or 3 months, you're going to get $350,000 just for doing one ADU.
Correct. Most people want to have more doors, and this gives you almost 3 doors to rent if you rent all 3 spaces.
Yeah. Jacqueline, when it comes to investing, what are some things that any first-time investor should be looking at? Because Charlene made a really good point. You always have to look at your city ordinances when it comes to rentals and short-term rentals. You want to elaborate on that?
Correct. I would also be looking at seeing if you can Airbnb the basement so they still have usability of it, but rent it out, being that you mentioned it was so close to town, and that everything had phenomenal restaurants and the walkability and parks of it for holiday, people that are going away on holiday, but yet want to have a place that they can have when they come back. So there's a lot of different aspects of this. My ROI turnaround is always making 50% of what the build out is, right? So that's where my numbers lie, is as long as I could cap that out. And then you're looking at your long-term holdback, meaning you're holding the property for a few years or for a year or two, and seeing how you can maximize your ROI. What is your rate of growth on the property after you're holding it for a year? And one of the things you mentioned was about that 2-year mark, which is a nice hold in order to maybe transition to a 1031 exchange and then roll your money into a product like that, and then be able to grow that from what is being a first-time home buyer. So it depends. It sounds like a phenomenal property with all the numbers in place. I'm going to be spreading the word and maybe looking at it myself.
Thank you.
That's
You're
the
welcome.
idea.
It's just been on the market for 6 days. We don't expect for it to last long.
You have to be getting great traffic on that, though, because it's super cute.
It's super cute. I do an open tomorrow, so I'll see how that goes. on a Thursday.
Nice.
All right. Awesome. So from the perspective of as we had discussed, I think anyone can look at this as a first time home buyer. You can look at it as potential rental property or first rental property for anyone, and you could also look at the ADU. Now, as far as having if anyone's watching who has any questions, just want to bring up a comment. Charlie, thank you so much for watching the show. If you have any questions for any of our guests, please ask. Because you wouldn't normally get this access to all these professionals who buy this house and invest in this property. So please do ask. Does anyone want to elaborate? Because what I mentioned is literally three investment strategies, depending on who you are. Is there any more do we want to discuss in terms of Rafael, I think you already you already mentioned that 75-100 as far as construction on the
construction, yeah. And another investment strategy, usually if anyone's in a 1031, it's not easy to identify properties in that 45-day period. So people get a little antsy, and it's good to have backups. And obviously, if you have excess cash, you have a 1031, you got to use it all, or you're going to have to pay capital gains. So properties like this would be perfect to always have a backup plan. If you're not buying commercial real estate, you can still buy residential, because when you're doing a 1031, hypothetically, if you have $1 million, it's like kind. You can buy single family, you can buy a car wash. It doesn't matter. It's just real estate. But you would have to spend $1 million because that was your capital gains.
Perfect.
So even a first-time investor or even a seasoned investor that's under the gun, you have 45 days to identify the property, and then you have 6 months, 180 days to close. And that doesn't sound like much time. It's very fast when the time starts. So yes, anyone that's a seasoned investor that's in a 1031, this would be a perfect property as well.
Perfect, yeah, it's an absolute great out. I mean, you could have the possibility of having three keys, 3 doors, right? Straight away. What it would take the basement. I'm not sure if it has a bathroom already, but if it has walls, there's no issue in getting what we need to get in there in order to make livability there, or in the other dwelling that is accessible. So I see this as a definite turnkey investment. It's a great, not turnkey, but it's a great hold on investment. Or if you wanted to make those 3 doors and then sell it for the 1.2 or more, if you had both of those units below, one below and the one outside, I think that would also bring higher ROI in the end. So it's a great investment on many different platforms and investment strategies.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks for that, Jacqueline. One thing that I feel like was missing is that, obviously when we mention Los Angeles, people feel like they know Los Angeles. So Charlene, since this is your listing and, you can speak about the market, can you kind of speak of what you've seen as far as, the activity in this area in terms of properties, how long they've been lasting, and how long, what kind of trends you've been seeing in the Los Angeles market?
Yeah, definitely. This area is markedly seeing an uptick in millennials buying into the neighborhood because this is what they can afford. And just slowly everything is coming up. The older people, the seniors that were living there are now leaving, and they're just renovating the properties, address by address. It's just changing into these modernized, like this little bungalow of giving them breathing more new life into the properties and bringing a nicer, younger element. You'll now see a lot of strollers, coffee shops, things like that. And it's rated a number 74 on the AARP. This is a site that tells the livability of a neighborhood. And this one is a 74. It's high. Anything over 50 would be a wonderful property to own. So this would be live in one unit, rent out another. And I was wondering, Rafael, is there something that people can do when they purchase a property that has another rental unit on it, isn't it easier to qualify with, you can add the rental income?
Yes, new guidelines are letting, if you're doing conventional financing or even Govy, you can use the income that will be coming from the ADU now, which is really helpful when you're just on the brink of like not qualifying.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's what I was thinking. I wanted to have
Yeah.
people out there to know that that's an option too.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we would
I would
use
definitely
75%
pursue
of
this.
rental.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said, I'm sorry. I think we're having a lot of overlap, but I, as an investor, I would definitely pursue this. I would. I think it's a great, based on the investment analysis and what we're speaking about here with the different loan applications and the different portfolios, investment portfolios that it could be put in that are very diverse. I would definitely pursue this. There's a few different portfolios that the application fits in very nicely.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, hey, I want to start wrapping up. If you can believe it, we're almost at 30 minutes. So
Time flies when you're having fun.
it's crazy. So closing commentary. Real estate professionals, everyone loves closing. So first off, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being on the show and being available. I want to give each of you the opportunity to really spend, another 30, 45 seconds discussing, or at least reiterating something you had said on the show, and just having it so that anyone who's watching or watches this content, just takes a lesson, takes away some lessons, even if they don't end up investing in this property. So Rafael, would you do us a favor and go first?
Yeah, one of the things that Charlene brought up and Jacqueline elaborated on is anytime you're looking into a short-term rental, meaning like an Airbnb or VRBO, look into the city ordinances and see if the city will allow you to do that before you make that decision. Hey, this is a great Airbnb, but then the city won't allow it. So look into city ordinances.
Perfect. Jacqueline, love to hear what you have to say for closing.
Yeah, for me, it's just looking at which portfolio I would fit this into as far as my investment criteria are concerned, right? We have all different investment criteria and how we follow suit on what those are, whether it's a long hold, short hold, or whether or not it's stay and rent. There's a lot of different aspects that this particular property fits into, as well as extra growth, which I really like. I always love seeing growth and possibilities in my properties. And this one has 2 avenues of growth. So I'm definitely a pursue on this. And I think that this is a great avenue for the exposure for this property to be on this type of local live.
Perfect. Last but not least,
to get the word out, because it's going to sell fast.
Got it. Perfect. All right, Charlene, closing
Yeah, I
comment.
just want to say thank you for so much for having me on the show and allowing me to showcase one of our properties. And always consult with a professional when you have any questions, and don't sit on your laurels. Make the investment today, because tomorrow you wish you would have.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. It is. It's never a bad time to invest in real estate. So that's the reason why we have Learn Local. If you're a real estate professional, real estate investor, and are interested in promoting your business brand and your personal brand and talk real estate with us, please send us an email. Go to learninlocal.com. Check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, and all the other social channels that we have available. And we'll be looking forward to hopefully being your investor lifeline. And that's the reason why Learn Local exists. So thank you so much, everyone, for being on the show. Hopefully you had a good time. Would love to have you on future shows to discuss future opportunities. Until next time, make it a great day.